So if we have a look here at this gentleman, right, he's, you know, there's a sort of a sense of him having a torso and then a bottom, or maybe torso and then a bottom. Can you see that? You know, his legs are sort of coming off here, right? His arms are coming off here. Right, so this here, this here is the bean. All right, and we're going to focus on that. We're going to try to just draw beans. All right, so just practice along with me here. We'll just use this photo to start with a few times. Make it a bit larger, I think. Okay, we're just going to try to copy what we're seeing there. I'm actually going to pull that up in front of me here. Okay, so, nope. That's in your way, isn't it? Let's do that instead. Technology. Okay, here we go. So look, I'm drawing quite large. This is the stretch side, right? This is the pinch side. Pinch, stretch. See that? Center line. Center line. Okay, this part, the top part, is kind of in front of the back part, I reckon. His chest is a little bit closer to us than his ribs and his, you know, his private parts. Okay, so we're going to put the pinch on the top. Okay, and if you imagine looking where his neck's coming out, right? His neck's kind of sort of attaching here somewhere, right? Something like that. If you imagine where his neck is, we can put a little hole. And just for this exercise, this is going to help you establish, you know, this position. And in the exercise, if you can see the bottom hole, you could say, you could draw that as well, right? But I can't see it here because we're sort of looking down on the bottom part. So that's a bean. Let's try it again. Look at the photo. Right, we've got the sort of the tilt, the curve of his back, which is where that stretch is. We can see there's a pinch on this side, okay? So there's a kind of a pinch here. Now just look at the rib cage area. Look at the angle and the width. It's about like that. You can see his ribs are kind of about there. All right, so it's the center line about there. And then his bottom is kind of another elliptical shape about there. So for the sake of this idea, you just sort of, you do that. All right, that's a bean. So there's this lovely big stretch. There's a kind of the tilt. It's quite extreme, isn't it? And there's nothing wrong with exaggerating these. Maybe it's like that. Okay, now we're not trying to follow the contour here. We're not going to come along and do all of this, right? It's not that idea. The idea is one side is curving and stretched and the other side is pinching. This is going to be either in front of this or behind this. I think it's in front. Okay, and the center line, her center line, it's quite a smooth flowing line. It's almost a C shape through there, isn't it? And we can just see the top. So I would say, in fact, I'm going to put mine, if you look down at her bottom part, this is kind of tilting a little bit more to the left. So I think maybe the center line is a bit more like that. So that's roughly the bean for that pose. All right. In my reading of it. But look, if I redid that now, I might do it slightly differently. Okay, so let's just keep going. So if you're at home and you're drawing like yeah, if you're holding your pen like this and you're being really tight, then it's probably not going to help you. What I'd like you to do is try to hold your pencil in a different way, in a way that's a little bit, allows you to be a bit smoother. And try to draw these beans, maybe about, 10 centimeters. Here's a big iPhone, right? It's sort of, 2/3 the height of an iPhone, a big iPhone. And I've got big hands, right? So they're quite big drawings. So it's better if you draw a little bit larger for these. And try to hold your pencil in a way that's going to allow you to flow. See here, I can flow really nicely. If I hold it like this, it's not the same. Here I can, or even here, right? I quite like this position. It's different to that. This is for precise, and this, where I'm rubbing, I'm sort of gliding my hand across, or this, same thing. I'm sort of gliding my hand, or I'm just hovering, I'm not touching. Okay. Let's have a go, guys. Here, I'll time it, but if I go a little bit longer, it's okay. The point is, though, we just want you to try to practice this, okay? So pinch and a stretch. The pinch is on the left, the stretch is on the right. You've got almost a slight tilt back. And quite a twist in the top part. And she's quite extended, so there's not a lot of overlap here. You can see the center line here. I might have made her bottom one a bit too big, but that's okay. We're kind of looking down on it, and we can see a center line through here. Okay, and there's a pinch again, I think, on the top. And her neck is somewhere up here. Right, so that might be that one. All right. That's that one. Let's go to the next one. Oh, why do you keep doing that, Shane? That's better. Okay, next one. So, there's a pinch and a stretch. Where is the pinch and the stretch? This is a difficult one. It's not really obvious. So I'm going to just try first to just find the pelvis part, right, the bottom part. Right, this is a sort of center line through here, isn't it? And then there's a big overlap, and her torso is maybe about there. Sorry, her rib cage is maybe about there. And then the center line for her rib cage is maybe there. So I'm going to put the pinch on this side, I think. And I'm going to overlap. Clearly her rib cage is in front. See that? So it was a little bit hard to see at first, but if you just sort of analyze it, and there's her little neck hole there. If you just do it step by step, it'll come together. And this is the idea of this technique, because that's a very difficult drawing to face or reference photo. Very difficult because of the foreshortening. But if we study the bean first, try to capture the bean first, we can end up with a better drawing, I think. Sorry. Oh, I keep going back to the wrong one. All right, there she is there. We can just see her enough, I think. Okay, I'll just spin this around, I think. All right, so number 5. So we're looking, at the rib cage and the bottom. We're looking for a pinch. The pinch is clearly on the left, isn't it? Even though we can't see it, we can sense it. All right, so there's a curve here. There's a pinch here. We've got the sort of the approximate position and shape, you could say. Or maybe make it a bit more vertical. Nice big center line down here, which then sort of wraps back around. So I'm kind of emphasizing that upward curve, I suppose. And I'm going to put her, again, her ribs in front. Now, it's not about making a perfect drawing, right? It's about getting that feel for the flow. All right, that's pretty good. So I think I must have forgot to push the timer button in for that one, because that's more than 60 seconds. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay. So we're looking for the pinch. This is a hard one. I'm not sure where the pinch is, so I'm going to just try to look at each shape first. And then I'm sensing the center line for the bottom is about there, and the center line for the top's about there. So in fact, I might do this as a sort of a double S curve. And I think I'll just put the stretch on this side. It's almost like I could have another go at that. I don't know why my time is... Oh, there it is. I'm going to have another go at that because that doesn't flow to me. This is all stiff, okay? So I'm going to have another go up here. I feel like maybe the center line could be almost like that. It's almost as if the pinch could be on the right. Let's try that maybe. If I do that, it might work to give myself an S curve there. Okay, and if I do that, then I'm going to put the stretch on this side. Okay, so look, it's quite a different interpretation, is it? That to that. They both, you know, I think this works better. I can see more of the form here. I can't see the form as much. This is confusing me. And remember, this is just a guide to help you with your drawing, to build your drawing later. All right, so that's that one. I'll just squeeze one more up in here, I think. So that's number 5. This will be oh no, that was number 6. This will be number 7. All right, set the timer. Okay, so a pinch and a stretch. I think this is pretty obvious here, yeah? Stretch on this side. Quite a large sort of circular shape this time. Center line is down about here somewhere. Maybe I'll put her, she's sort of almost vertical in the top part. All right, again, the pinch is probably on the top. Most of these, the top part is in front. All right, something like that. Let's keep going. We'll do 3 more here, 8, 9, and 10. (26th of November, S2, week 6. Okay. Now, lovely long sort of, you know, stretch on the front. Clearly a pinch on the back. It's quite easy to see this one, isn't it? But he's in profile, so we can just make out the center line of his bottom, so to speak, right? So the center line's kind of, you know, just down there somewhere. And we could almost see the center line of his front. Okay, so there's quite a bit of a twist here. So it's as if the center line comes through and wraps around the front, and then there's a twist and we can see the center line of his back. See that? Okay, next one. I didn't push the button again. Let me do it this time. Start. Okay, here we go again. So clear pinch on the right, stretch on the left. Okay, so try to get the flow of that stretch. and look for the form, the approximate shape of the ellipse. It's quite circular here, and this is quite long up here, maybe like that. The center line's a bit more over to the left down the bottom, and a bit more over to the right up here, so it sort of maybe comes through. Kind of like that, roughly. And I think the pinch is on the front, sorry, the top part is on the front, or in front. So it might be like that. Again, the neck hole would be about there. Making sense? All right, and then last one before we move on to the other warm-ups. Okay, now this is one you've already drawn, okay? And you might remember when I did it, I did use the bean, because it really needs the bean here to help make sense of this. So let's have a go. 1 minute, just the bean. Okay, so let's look at the stretch. It's probably on the back, isn't it? And the pinch is probably underneath, and there's a lot of foreshortening. This one, the rib cage, is clearly in front of, and there's a lot of overlap. Right, that's the bottom, that's the rib cage. And this is obviously in front, so the pinch or the folds will be about there. And then we want to look for the center line. We can imagine the neck hole being visible about here. We can just see the center line of his chest. And we can see the center line of his bottom area. So something like that. All right, so that's number 10. So it'll be pretty quick succession, 45 seconds each. And we're going to do 7. Okay, so just try to keep up. Okay, here we go. Okay. Don't worry about it, okay? Just do it. Long, smooth, flowing lines is what we're looking for. And it's a practice, it's a warm-up, okay? There's nothing more to be done here except practice and warm-up. Okay? So, you know, it's tough, right? It's frustrating because we want to make good drawings. Well, this is not the time to try to make good drawings. This is the time to simply practice making lines. Flowing, long flowing lines. Okay, so that's 3. Again, don't worry too much about, you know, things being upside down. I don't care. I really don't care. I want you to just spend 45 seconds each and just label things, okay? And we just move on. Actually, I can use the back here. This will be 4. I might get 4 and 5 done here. Here we go. Wrong. Doesn't feel right. And a little bean there, right, just to help me. All right, doesn't matter if it's not finished. It's just all I could get done, okay? Should be able to squeeze her in here, I think. All right, so it's really not about making good drawings, guys. It's simply about warming up. These 45-second ones are literally a warm-up. You know, how could you possibly do a good drawing in 45 seconds? It's not possible, but it is possible to warm up and to start noticing things. All right, that's 4 and 5. We'll do 2 more and then we'll have a break. Okay. make her a little bit larger because she's a little bit small. All right, quite a complex one. So let's just break it down. Smooth flowing lines, gesture lines. That's a hard one. Great pose though. So strange. Okay, one more. Let's move him in a bit. It's kind of leaning back, isn't he? Maybe a bit of a bean there might help. Okay, there you go. That's the warm-up over, guys. Okay, so we're just doing some more 2.5 minute poses here. Incorporating the bean as well as gesture. Just try to take one shape at a time. Now, let's have a look here. He's got quite a strong diagonal for the chest area. And maybe that. I'm just kind of positioning some of these sort of parts, if you like. Now this knee is lower than this one. Sort of due to it being further back. I quite like the stance there, the flow. Now I'm going to try to get this sort of, see that flow from his chest up to his shoulder. Alright, so, again, it's almost straight down, isn't it? Not very happy with this, but it's okay. So I've kind of made too much of that contour at this point. Yeah, it's not very good. I need more information over here, so I'll try. And now I can see that I've made his head way too small, so I'll just bring that up. All right, so sternum, nipples. I feel like I need to sort of define some of the now that I've got a little bit of time. Why do I have so much time? Oh, I didn't push the button. Oh, shame. Anyway, if I had more time, I'd start to do things like that, right? But again, the flowing lines underneath are what matters. All right. Sorry about that. I didn't push the timer. So we'll go to the next one. We'll start her. Well, I'll just spin this around. This will be number 8. Oh. Cranium. I could even almost start with I'm really going to try to loosen up here because something about what I'm doing today is not not quite working, and I think I'm a bit stiff. So I'm going to just try to be a little bit more flowing and see if that helps me. Yeah, I love the shapes that bodies make. I mean, they're just so pleasing. Something like that. All right, so that's got me back to about here. I need to be looking down on that, right? So there's a kind of a contour there. And then her ribs are sort of about there, I think. And then her centre line's about there. So her neck's kind of attached about here. So I've kind of gone backwards this time, haven't I? But, you know, whatever works. Okay, so that's my time there. So, you know, didn't quite get there, didn't get enough information down. But, you know, we're trying. No, it's probably that way, isn't it? You know, not so good. Oh well. So, see, you know, I find it frustrating too. Sometimes, not all the time. You know, there's good days and bad days, I think, with drawing, just like life. So you just have to be willing to accept things, you know. Try not to get too upset with yourself and just keep going. So I'm imagining taking up about this much space. So I'm sort of pre-visualizing, you know. So the cranium's kind of out there, isn't it? And then front of the head, side plane. This is the top of the sternum here. Now there's always a flow out collarbone. So her neck's kind of coming down to about here. Okay, well I really like that, but I've wasted a lot of time, haven't I? Or maybe that's the wrong way to think about it. I've spent a lot of time. Maybe you don't have to get, you know, the whole body in each time, you know? Maybe you just need to take the drawing to where you can take it. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. So there's the buzzer. It's nice. You know, I think my policy is probably if it feels good, just keep going, you know. But if you get to a point where it doesn't feel good, you should stop. You know, stop when it doesn't feel good. Or stop when it feels right to stop. I'm just going to go a little bit longer on this one. Again, just trying to... Got the rib cage there, can you see that? And then the breast mass is about here. So I want to stitch that to the center line. And then that sort of flows up into there. What I quite like about this pencil is when I'm rubbing my hand over the drawing, I'm sort of softening the lines a bit, and I actually like that. Okay, now there's this plane here. It's kind of tucked in, isn't it? Anyway, I don't mind that, you know, it's starting to feel good. See that flow? It's about there first, isn't it? And then we can find the other parts to it. So there's this flow here, this rhythm. It's almost up through there. Oh, look, I can't. I'm in an awkward position now. I can't quite reach it. There you go. That's good. Oh, I like that. Quite happy with that one. Great. So that's number 10. I'm so self-indulgent. I'm just drawing for as long as I want, aren't I? Oh well. It's all a demonstration. Okay, 10 minutes to go and 2 more drawings to go. So that's pretty good. Change her over. That one's too hard because it's all cropped, so I might go to this one. That's maybe a bit better. I'll go to 28%. Just move that over. Okay, that's good. This is good, then I can make it bigger. Great. Okay. Do. I need to move my bottom to the left. That's better. Okay, here we go. What I'm doing each time before I start a drawing is trying to just calm myself down. You know, at the start of each drawing, I start to think, oh, I can't draw. That's an impossible pose. Where would I start? You know, I think it's normal as a creative person to constantly doubt our abilities. And then, if you want to get better, you just have to push through that and just keep working. And these little ideas and techniques that I'm trying to teach you should help you do that. And you know, she's got a very long neck, so we can exaggerate that, can't we? We can play a little bit. All right, now there's a really nice shape through there actually. And then there's this lovely swooping, very exaggerated, lovely and then there's this here, this S, maybe like that. Something like that. Okay, so again, the whole idea of this upside down shape. Now, there's no line coming across here, but there's a sort of a, what we call a rhythm, a feel. The feeling is that it crosses sort of like that. I'll just go another minute here. All right, so that's pretty good. Now, there's also a rhythm through there. Kind of brings us out to her arms a little bit, and then there's of course this it's almost that, isn't it? There you go. All right, so it's quite, my drawing's quite exaggerated, but I like that. I think this woman's body lends itself, as we say in Australia, to exaggeration. She has quite an extremely thin figure and very muscular, low fat. It's very unusual, especially in the West. So it's kind of fun to focus on that. I'm resisting the temptation to change the my position of my pencil, because if I do that, I know I'm going to get all precise and careful, and I don't want to get precise and careful. I want to keep it flowing. But look, this is pretty good. I'm happy with that. I think it gives a sense of the emotion. All right, Shane. Yeah, we've got to stop there so we can move on. All right, last one. Last one for the day. Ooh, Mr. Muscles. Here we go. So take your time. Cranium, side plane, bit of a center line there. Again, it's flow, not yet shapes, flow. It took me a long time to notice the difference, but there's quite a difference. and I'm kind of drawing through a little bit, so I'm leaving, or I'm not, how do I explain this? If I see a form, I can imagine where it's going out the back of the drawing, I'll draw it on the drawing, and that will Alright, so that's nearly time there. Well, that's the time for that drawing. So I'm just going to spend another minute or two finishing it off, or working on it. Won't be finished, I'll just keep drawing. So today, from today, please complete 10 bean drawings, then 7 45-second drawings, and then 12 2.5-minute drawings. Now, if you spend up to 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes, that's fine as well. Okay, but the main thing is that you keep focusing on the flow. Remember, gesture is about the feeling, not about the shapes. A quick sketch, if you spend long enough on it, you can end up building form. But initially, your lines should be about capturing the flow. Then you can build sort of individual rhythms, like I'm sort of starting to do here, to kind of connect different aspects of that body part to other body parts. But you don't want to start with those shapes. All right, or you're going to end up with a sausage machine. Especially with this guy. So you can build on your forms around or over the top of your gesture lines, if you've got time. Something like this. And then you can probably see that pretty quickly you can anyway. Thanks guys, that's the end of the day.